Yeah, that would be showing part four, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It'd be showing, you stopped it in its tracks as to where it's coming from. Why is it only testing to begin with? Testing should be a measure that you do. Nobody's not saying that, but it should not be the only method in order to stop a pandemic in its tracks. You know what I'm saying? And the mandates, you know what I'm saying? And now the governor, and no, to me, as to stop it, so you don't have to use mandates. And now the governor nor government, president, should have the right to cause any type of firing of people just because of something like this. Seems like that seems to have some form of rule that is outside of American overstanding, especially after the people have worked hard and done the best they can and fight to get into the position of nursing in the first place into some of these hospitals, which sometimes can be very hard. And now their position is just they're just walking away from their career. I mean, that's really, really a gut wrenching and wicked thing to do to a person. You know what I'm saying? You know, they should not have the right to cause something like that to happen. And why would people need to seek religious, as we say, religious freedom to avoid the mandates when they, to me, the God that they're talking about or whatever they're seeking that for, you know what I'm saying, to me isn't real in much sense. You know what I'm saying? And have, never been proven. You know what I'm saying? COVID-19 is not catching to meat somehow it's been given. And, you know, to know you have it, if that's the case, you still would have to test the person. But where's the tracing as to cut off the well? To stop it in its tracks is the question that I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't just do that. You know, you can't just do that. You know what I mean? So it still would lead back to them. And what goes around comes around. You know, what goes around comes around. When we look at it, you know, and we see Biden up there doing his thing, I wonder if he getting another salt and water shot. You know what I'm saying? These Democrats will do anything, to force these different measures of their own to keep this going. And we need to cut it off because nothing should be lasting this long. And it's very suspicious as to why it would continue to last this long and not be, cut off by now. Or at least going down, you know. I mean, it should be down to the percentage of an endemic, really. You know what I'm saying? It's to like to keep it going, you know what I'm saying? And now have led to what we see. People losing their jobs, you know what I'm saying? When, it doesn't make sense losing their job. When will the people, stand against this by all means? You know what I'm saying? How long would the people, how long would it take for the people to push back? And we have to push back and we have to push back strong because, like I said, the people was working, doing their job. They wasn't being fired, and all of a sudden now they're being fired because of this group. We need to push back. We need to stand as one and, what I'm saying, you know, where's Black Lives Matter now? The people losing their jobs and all kinds of this like that. So you telling me those lives don't matter either? I don't see no Black Lives out there. They should be the number one group out there speaking up right now if you cared so much about, the people. You know what I'm saying? And whose side is they on? You know what I'm saying? Whose side is Black Lives Matter on? Because you should be out there now trying to save these people's jobs. And many are losing their job. So you should be as one group that's out there. But you see, that's why I told people you gotta form the PLM. You know what I'm saying? It must be formed. The People Lives Matter Party. And how can how can they, push but not you know, it's really, how can they push but not find the source? You know what I'm saying? Find the source of it. Because, whether you're the healthcare worker, do or will not, it will not stop what is going on. You know what I'm saying? It will not stop what's going on. You know? This is and there's, to me, in this situation, you know, it's just terrible. When you really look at it, it's really terrible. You know what I'm saying? When we really, really look at it. And there is a case here when we look at it. There's a case here. You know what I mean? You heal the sick. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to heal the well. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to heal the well. So your job as a well person should be to heal the sick, not be put under some kind of mandate that causes you to even lose your job while you're supposed to be helping. Really doesn't say much respect to a healthcare worker. It's a slap in the face, really. You know what I mean? Because you should be helping the sick as a well person, you know what I'm saying, as the well. So why would you fire, workers in the name of curing? Preventing is what should have taken place. The prevention of those healthy people getting sick. Just giving them something and they fighting against it and refusing is causing a rift and an understanding of overreach of government based on the fact of the healthy people curing for the well. The two doesn't seem to have any match. You know what I'm saying? But if you're taking precautions, the right gear you're wearing, the right mask you're wearing, all this stuff should be enough for the well to help take care of that situation. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. We got somebody on the upstairs. So, we're looking at many things that is going on. So, it's about time for people to really look at that situation for what it is. You have to be able to help and cure the sick as we see. You know what I mean? You cannot have people who are, I'm walking around. You cannot have people who are sick and everybody gets sick and then nobody's there to take care of anybody. So some people should be kind of left alone based on the fact that they're well. And that's very important in such a situation such as this. You know, it doesn't make sense to where the people are actually losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense at all. So we have to start paying more close attention to what is going on. You know what I'm saying? We gotta pay more close attention to what's going on. You know what I mean? You know? So like I said, why would they fire the workers? In the name of curing. Prevention is everything, but not pushing anything on the well. So, yeah, in the name of curing. You know what I mean? Is what we're asking. We don't care about, they seem to keep saying about misinformation, like we don't want people to be cured if they're sick. What we're saying is if the well is well, let the well be and let them do their job as healthcare workers caring for the sick, is what we saying. What is this push on them that, is this? It is what should really be taking place, the prevention, you know what I'm saying, not the firing of healthcare workers. You know what I'm saying? It's still a discrimination somewhere in the process, and we have to look at that. You know what I mean? Against the healthy, you know, you're pushing this discrimination against the healthy. Doesn't make sense by saying you are preventing. But how are you preventing when the workers have to fight against your situation while they try to do their job? It doesn't make sense. So now you made a bunch of people walk away, and you're talking about seeing a rise in the firing of people, so that even weakening our healthcare even more. You know what I'm saying? But you keep saying that's not going to be a change. Yes, it is. It's going to be complete chaos. I mean, what is Biden really, really doing, and the governor of New York really doing, based on firing healthcare workers who are healthy, good, strong people, can do the job, been doing the job, been there for years, gain a little status there, and then all of a sudden be booted out in the name of a pandemic and a cure of the same. It doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? And it's against the healthy people by saying, like I said before, you're preventing. But there's no way to prove the healthy is the reason. How do you prove that? Like the lady said, one guy saying you would have to do a religious this and that, and the lady said on the other hand, same thing on the other side, that would be hard to prove as well. She has a great point. Good job. But that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're blaming them as the reason. This must be mentioned in the case before the Supreme Court because, you know what I'm saying, again, they have to test first in order to know. So, how is the healthy the blame? And why should the healthy go through any procedure of testing or getting something in them based on the fact of helping the sick? How is that misinformation? I really don't get that. And it's very confusing. You know what I'm saying? It's very confusing. But what they'll say is they have to do it in order to be around the people because the reason why you're saying that is because you're blaming the healthy and saying that the healthy is the one getting them when they are already sick, being helped by the healthy. So you're going around in a circle that does not make much sense, and there's a case here. Again, they have to test first. So how is the healthy to blame? Because once getting is once getting is getting the test and the method, you know what I'm saying, and you know the complainer is the ones who did. So if you did, you did. So why is you complaining about, because the ones who are getting you getting yours. Nobody's arguing about that. Nobody telling you not to go there and get yours. You know what I'm talking about. Nobody said that. I don't know why they keep saying misinformation on that front. It's not the point. It seems like there's a little bit of reverse psychology going on here, because the ones that are getting, is the tested, and they're getting whatever they're getting, and the complainer is the ones who did. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at 3.38%. Notice they are not mentioning who and how many are really, to me, dying. You know what I'm saying? We, when we look at it, we see a prolonging here, and we don't know why. Because it should have been by now on dissipation. You know what I'm saying? How is that misinformation? That's not a misinformation, that's a statement of judgment based on what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Which have gone to which should have gone to an endemic by now. By now. So where and how is the case? Where and how is really the case? Truly, where and how is this in the case truly coming from? Is the question. And that's the question they won't answer. It moves too fast, according to hearsay. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. It moves too fast. It shows to many. And as a direct, it remains so we know. It was not based on a natural occurrence anymore. It seems to be, even if it did, it's still going too far within that situation, is what we're saying. It lasts too long and still have a drive, is what we're looking at in the seed. It still has a drive in the seed. I wonder who. Because the measure goes too far, especially when people are losing their jobs and their money and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Their benefits and all kinds of stuff are being, ruined due to this situation. You know what I'm saying? Is what we're saying. You know, to me, it would breed, it's breeding unhealthy behavior. You know what I'm saying? But under a bad policy of wicked ones, of many. You know what I'm saying? And can can the Supreme Court prove, for better or worse, you know, that the untreated is where it's coming from, outside of what was done to them before anyone was touched? Can the Supreme Court prove that as to where it is coming from? Or just the method? If we see this, then the court is in it. That's not protection. To me, that is deep state. You know what I'm saying? It's very deep state sounding, coming from, you know what I'm saying, the mansion up there. You know what I mean? You know, it's still, and it still is, and still unconstitutional. And to use executive orders, as his weapon, doesn't make sense. Against hard-working people, that doesn't make sense. And she's a governor who, who's the only, you know, who's the only way, she's the only one that can really allow this flow to be, to the tracing to solve, is, how is you solving? You're not solving. Your only solution to solving is to fire the people from their jobs of the medical, because of the medical practice, because of the medical process. You know, that applies to the sick, not the well. Common sense should tell them that. You saying prevention, I understand that, and nobody's arguing against that point, because now that it is in flow. But if the person is not sick, then and then you're forcing it all to everybody, rushing them into it and all of this and that, and a sort of an experimental vibe. You know what I'm saying? And that's not misinformation, because that's what was told on the news. You see what I'm saying? But you push it. So how will it end? Because as long as they continue down this road, to me, it will never end. And as long as they control the science, it will continue. Because if people are not doing the science, other people are, and then telling you. That's just common sense. How the hell is that misinformation? And why you keep saying misinformation when we don't want to get sick? What's wrong with you? You think we honestly want to get sick, whether it's a trick or not? We want to catch this, or whatever the groove may be. So we're interested in the well being well, so we know where to cut it, where it's cutting off. As long as they stay well, and these group of people and everybody stay well, then it should be cutting off. You know what I'm saying? But you saying these people are coming in and thousands of people are getting sick, but that's due to what you did to them in the very beginning. Because they weren't sick before that. That's not information, that's sight and what you see. So they have to cut that out. You know what I'm saying? They have to cut that out. We need facts. And the Supreme Court cannot, to me, give those type of facts to weigh in, because we are, speaking about, you know what I'm saying, and experimental that. Because that's why it has to be approved by the FDA. That's common sense. How's that misinformation? Man, you don't know what misinformation is. So how can a mandate be applied in this case? Is what the Supreme Court must understand. It cannot be applied in this case to force on them because that would mean that you're down with them. You know what I'm saying? And be applied at all. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at that. The pushing. This is not a good at all. This is not good at all. You know what I'm saying? Without proper tracing as to where the well is to cut off the water and put a dam. That we stop this in its track and it fades away. You know what I'm saying? But we see that that's not happening, and we've seen this many, 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 many times over and over and over, which does not make sense because I'm not no young spring chicken. I'm older dude. So I've seen this many times. It will also never end, but it will keep going. So where is the science on the tracing to the source? And that's point blank. You can't just do method. Nothing is wrong with the method, but it does not speak for your actions based on that. You know what I'm saying? It does not speak well. You know what I mean? And this is what we're trying to get them to understand. They keep screaming misinformation, but you never, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm up there saying this and that, you would hear me say stuff like, you know, if you go into a crowd of people, at least have a mask with you in case something was to go down, and then you move away from that person real quickly that you don't get sick. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is saying nothing about not wearing no mask. You gotta have at least have it in your pocket. Let's be sensible, people. At least have it in your pocket. You know what I mean? But to say that the healthy person that's doing the mask thing must be forced into something, how is that going to happen? What happens if another one come? Wow, this now you have to come up with something else. And there's a rotation that is not good for the body of the American people, or people in general all over the world, even a pandemic, a widespread geographical area. We have to look at that. We see it that it's all over. But how? You know what I'm saying? From a thumb-sized bat is what they're saying. You know, saying it came from a reservoir. And then so on and so on and so on. How many stories are you going to tell? So to saying that would say that you don't know where it's come from. There's no originality based on the fact of where it's coming from. But it is here in our country now because of what went on in the very beginning, and we must examine the very beginning to understand the evidence in which we are bringing forth in this matter. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to look at that. You're saying all over. You know what I mean? You know, bring it to a point. You know, how and who is tracing that? How and who is going to trace that? When we bring that to a point, where's the trace as to that? You know what I'm saying? People are just listening to that. Where's the trace to that? You know, and who will validate this story but them? And that's what we're saying. So we need more understanding and have it been checked in the story is the question. Has it been checked? You know what I mean? To its true, to the truth, it was not, and not by the common people. It was not checked to this trueness by the people, and not even by the common people. But, there is much evidence, you know, on how. There's much evidence on how. You know what I'm saying? How is one thing, but it still does not speak for, is it true or not based on what you said. So you're even fumbling the ball there. Who that have seen to go with this situation. You know what I'm saying? It seemed to have gone unnoticed based on the crimes against the world, if this is the case, to gain a full control to me with this, but now it was already